Sarah, can you introduce yourself, your role within the company, and a bit about your organization?
Yeah, so I'm Sarah Kill. I'm the Events and Marketing Manager at Carers UK, who are the national charity for unpaid carers. So an unpaid carer we classify as someone providing help and support to a neighbour, a loved one, a friend or family member. And the census data estimates there are about 5.8 million unpaid carers in the UK, but our data suggests there's up to 11 million unpaid carers. And the unpaid carers also save the economy billions of pounds per year. So it's roughly equivalent to another NHS. And my role is to run our events. So we do both hybrid, virtual and in-person events. And that's anything from like our large-scale conferences for our corporate partners, our members, all the way through to awards dinners, networking receptions and parliamentary launch reports.
Is it for a non-profit company or a non-profit?
Yeah, non-profit.
You already answered, but so you run both in-person events and virtual events and hybrid events. Like just roughly, what's the breakdown? Like most of them are in-person or virtual?
I'd say the breakdown is about 70 to 80% in person, 10 to 15% virtual, and about 5% hybrid.
And what are your main goals for this event? What is the end goal that you're trying to achieve, the main KPI?
So the main KPI for this event is really to retain our audience, because previously we've had issues with audience retention and people actually being able to access the platform.
And what challenges were you facing before using vFairs?
Before using vFairs, in fact, what prompted me to switch to vFairs was we had an event where our sponsor, they had a speaking slot at the event and they were unable to join the event on the day. And no matter how many phone calls we did to the tech provider, I just kept getting put on hold. They didn't have an answer and their speaking slot came and went by the time that they were able to get in. So it was a huge issue for us.
Ouch. What specific features or capabilities are most important to you when you're using a platform like vFairs?
What's hugely important is the reporting system afterwards, because being a non-profit, most of our events are sponsored. So we have to be able to pull that key data from the platform to be able to show the delegate experience, where they clicked, when they clicked, what they downloaded, how many interactions they had with an exhibitor booth.
And what made vFairs stand out compared to other platforms you considered when trying to make a switch?
It's really the immersive feature that stood out to us. It was as close as being to a live conference as you can get online. In fact, we had feedback from our delegates going, it would be really amazing if we had the opportunity to like customize one of the little avatars so we could see ourselves walking around. So that really stood out, not both internally, but also externally to our delegates.
And how was your onboarding or setup experience?
Oh, it was seamless right from the word go. I was lucky enough to work with Katie on a sales perspective, and then I dealt with various different support managers. And I mean, she even got on a call with a few of our directors, answered all their difficult questions. The response time is, if not immediate, then, you get a response within a few hours. You know that you're not going to be having to chase for a response. It's like, I'm a very small team. It's literally me running the events and I don't have time on event days to go and chase for answers. So it's like knowing that there's someone there in the background who values your event and is like a partner, not just a vendor. And like I'd emailed on an event day going, this person's literally just signed up to the event. Can we get them on? Within like 5 minutes, I've had a response and then accessing the platform.
Amazing. And what aspects of the vFairs platform did your team and attendees love the most?
Well, as I said, it was the virtual nature of it, but also it was the poster hall, because that was a huge thing that we did for the in-person conference that we then transitioned online. And though I haven't seen anyone else be able to replicate getting those posters online so we can share the best practice of our partners.
And after using vFairs, what are some of the results or outcomes have you achieved so far?
So we've had amazing feedback from our delegates. So we've gone from about 60-70% positive feedback to 95% positive feedback from our delegates. We've retained our sponsor year upon year for the event, and we've also had a lot more interest and higher attendance rates year upon year.
Perfect. And like what kind of numbers do you report to your stakeholders, to your managers and so forth? Because in the end, we all have managers. We all have to report to them on our performance. What are some of those numbers that vFairs has been able to provide you?
So it's been delegate login, the amount of time spent within the virtual platform, the clicks on different areas. So it's really been like the delegate experience through the platform, and then the downloads from the vendors' booths, our booth where we've provided resources, how many swag bags at the end has been downloaded, and then also how many posters have been viewed.
Perfect. Would you recommend vFairs to any other organizations, and why?
Absolutely. It's been such a seamless experience. Dealing with everyone at vFairs has been, I've just been amazed at like the response level and the actual care. It's like you're not just another number and you're not just a sales figure to them. They actually care about you as a event manager and about an organization.
What's next for your events, and how do you see vFairs fitting into your long-term event strategy?
Well, we're actually transitioning our virtual event back to in-person, and we're combining it with another conference. So we're looking at the way that we can utilize the event app and the badge printing.
Thank you, Sarah, so much for sharing your feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you.